Wanneer jy sulke berigte lees of die nuus kyk, en jy sien die chaos en die ellende, pyn, smart, die lyding, julle is baie mense se reaksie, as daar 'n God is, en hy is dan so liefde, soos almal sê, hoekom doen hy dit? Baie mense is van mening dat ons deur God gestraf word, en dit is nogal so dat die plekke wat eerste, die meeste getref was, die grootste afgod aanbidders is. En nou dat ek daaraan dink, dit is ook net dalk met opset so beplan. Nou ja, julle mense redeneer so, omdat hulle Matteus 24 nie reg lees nie. Want waar Jesus praat, sê hy, pas op dat niemand julle mislei nie, want baie sal onder my naam kom en sê, ek is die Christus, en hulle sal baie mislei, nie? Ja, daar was al dosyne wat geloop en verkondig het, dat hulle 'n Jesus is, of die Messias is, en hulle het hordes navolgers. Dan is daar mense wat 'n valse Jesus verkondig in megakerke, en daar duisende mense mislei. Maar hoor hierso, Jesus sê, julle sal hoor, julle moet mooi oplet, julle sal hoor van oorloë en gerugte van oorloë. Maar moenie skrik nie, dis nog nie die einde nie. En dan sê Jesus, en daar sal hongersnode wees. Julle let op, né? Ons weet natuurrampe speel 'n baie groot rol in die ekonomie, né? Maar kyk gou na hierdie video.
I spoke about how South Africa doesn't have seeds last time, and many people didn't understand what I was talking about. The country is currently making all its staple foods on what are called genetically modified seeds.
Monsanto!
Yes, most of which are disabled from reproducing. Most of which, even if they did reproduce, they would slowly reproduce less and less. This means that we need...
Please stop. People don't understand this. A seed, when you plant it, has an ability that when it bears fruit, the fruit can give you seeds that can be replanted.
Yes.
You are saying there are genetically modified seeds where it will give you fruit, maybe even with pips, but they cannot grow into anything.
Some of those seeds are genetically engineered to have what is called a genetic use restriction technology, that if you try to replant it next season, it won't replant. But more importantly, when you plant it, this genetically modified plant, first time around, when it can still reproduce, it has a power to cross-pollinate, and the pollen will go all across the country, 60-kilometer radius, and they will infect or go to an organic plant and cross-pollinate that plant and turn it into a plant that's got genetic use restriction technology, so that plant won't work. And they can do that again and again all across the country until they destroy the organic seeds, and you're only left with these genetically engineered seeds for your food. So you have to go and buy them every year from a company that is not South African, from a Monsanto that is not South African, from a Bayer that is not South African, from a Syngenta that is not South African, putting you in slavery for
so scary.
And this
so scary.
And these companies, Lima Grain, which owns a company called Seedco, Lima Grain actually destroyed all tomato seeds in Europe, to the extent that right now hybrids are what are left in Europe, and they sell these hybrids from anything from $60,000 a kg to $400,000 a kg. What that means is seeds cost more than a kg of gold. So if we continue to allow that to happen in South Africa, very soon the companies that control these seeds can demand a kg of gold or more for a kg of seeds. And without those seeds, you do not eat. So what we are saying is, it should therefore be common sense for the government of South Africa, black South Africans, and anybody that considers themselves South African, including the Boers, to make sure that they should be supporting seed producers that produce organic seed or open pollinated seeds, so that we can have seeds in the hands of our farmers that reproduce for us to be able to control our food production. Now, I sell such seeds. I sell food that is grown by farmers that produce organic seeds. People don't support me. They support the same Pick and Pays and companies that produce these GMOs that continue to ensure that we don't have capacity to produce our own food, making us servants of seeds.
Please come back soon. Thank you very much.
I will.
So, onthou julle, net so rukkie terug, het daar ook video's omgegaan van plaasboere oor see, wat gesê het dat die government het hulle gedreig en sal hulle betaal dat hulle nie moet plant nie, hulle moenie saai nie. Né? Onthou julle dit? Okay, goed. So, Jesus sê, en pestsiektes. Kyk gou hier.
We've been looking at aluminum, which is common to many vaccines. It's used as an adjuvant, that means helper. Without the aluminum, the vaccine basically does not provide any long-term protection. And so my research has looked at injectable aluminum and how it might impact the nervous system. The difference between injectable aluminum versus dietary aluminum is that aluminum that you eat is excreted fairly rapidly. Injectable aluminum, however, is meant to stick around. And that's precisely why it's there in the first place. That's what an adjuvant does. So we simply did the really simple experiment of taking the same stuff out of the vaccines, the aluminum hydroxide, and injecting it into mice, into the muscles, to see what would happen if we tried to mimic the vaccine schedule. We were quite surprised to see how rapidly the behavioral symptoms emerged. They showed not only behavioral deficits of motor function, but they ultimately showed cognitive deficits as well. And once we sacrificed the animals and started looking inside their brains and spinal cords, we found massive damage to motor neurons. And so we may be creating the conditions for Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, Alzheimer's disease. Maybe not immediately, but maybe 20, 30, 40 years down the road.
En dan mos natuurlik aardbewings op verskillende plekke. So kyk hier.
Out in the middle of nowhere sits a forest of antennae, causing earthquakes and tsunamis, unimaginable chaos and ruin. Or so the conspiracy theory goes. In the second edition of Doom Tech, we're looking at the HARP research facility situated in Alaska, USA. Conspiracy theorists have linked the HARP project to earthquakes and tsunamis all over the globe. Calamities blamed on HARP by conspiracy theorists include the Haiti earthquake, which struck on 12th January 2010. The magnitude 7 earthquake killed over 3 lakh people. The Japan earthquake and tsunami of March 2011 have also been linked to HARP. The magnitude 9 quake killed over 18,000 people. The Chile earthquake and tsunami of February 2010 were also caused by HARP, according to some accounts. The 8.8 magnitude trembler caused over 500 deaths. A massive landslide in Philippines in 2006 has also been linked to HARP. It had killed more than 1,000 people. These conspiracy theories are not limited to some sections of the internet. Even some world leaders have openly propagated these claims. In 2010, then President of Iran, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, said recent floods in Pakistan had been caused by the HARP project's electromagnetic waves. He also accused European nations of draining rain clouds before they could reach Iran, causing water shortages in the Asian country. In the same year, then President of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, said a tectonic weapon being tested by America had caused the deadly Haiti earthquake. Chavez claimed that it was just a test run before America uses the weapon on Iran. Despite such loud proclamations, conspiracy theorists don't explain how some antennae in the US could cause quakes thousands of kilometers away. Instead, they claim that the details are closely guarded by the American government. So, what exactly is the HARP project? HARP is an acronym for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Its objective is to study the highest portions of the Earth's atmosphere. HARP sends high-frequency radio waves to the ionosphere. These radio waves heat electrons at altitudes above 60 kilometers. Then, scientists study the resulting perturbations in the ionosphere. The aim is to improve communication and navigation systems. HARP was managed by the US Air Force and Navy from 1990 to 2014. In 2015, the facility was handed over to University of Alaska Fairbanks. While HARP has not responded specifically to earthquake claims, it has responded to weather manipulation theories. HARP scientists have stated that the facility cannot control weather. Earth's weather is produced in the troposphere and stratosphere. HARP's radio waves don't interact with these lower layers of the atmosphere. Scientists have said that if ionospheric storms caused by the sun can't affect Earth's weather, then HARP definitely cannot. But this doesn't mean that artificial earthquakes are impossible. There are at least two ways that humans can cause earthquakes. The first is fracking or hydraulic fracturing, which is used to extract oil and natural gas. Wastewater produced by fracking is pumped into deep underground wells, and this can cause temblors. The second way to create a quake is through nuclear explosions. Quakes caused by nuclear blasts are much smaller than the explosion, and not all blasts cause quakes. The range of these is a few tens of kilometers as per the USGS. A fabled earthquake machine has also been linked to the enigmatic inventor Nikola Tesla. Some accounts say Tesla built a steam-powered oscillator which was designed to vibrate at various frequencies. The machine reportedly caused violent vibrations in a New York building, causing panic among people in the area who thought it was an earthquake. Tesla wanted to use the machine to transmit electricity via vibrations in the ground. The genius inventor believed that a powerful enough machine could even cause earthquakes. However, the idea did not progress beyond the prototype stage. Although conspiracy theorists obsess over HAARP, it's not the only project of its kind. There is the Ionospheric Research Facility at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Then there's the defunct Ionospheric Research Station in Kharkiv, Ukraine. There's also an ionospheric heating and shortwave radar facility in Tromsø, Norway. With social media's reach continuing to grow and scientific projects becoming more and more complex, authorities need to improve their communication so that conspiracy theories don't go from being internet conversations to igniters of mass panic.
Nou goed, kom ons luister gou na hierdie professor in New York. Wat vertel hy vir ons?
Climate change yesterday, and now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion, though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really? To change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
So what does it mean for drought areas that need to have rain for crops? And if they don't have them, there's the consequences of famine.
Well, the bad news is if it's a clear blue sky, it's not going to do anything at all because it only takes water vapor that's already in the air and condenses it. However, for floods, for agriculture, farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
Incredibly interesting, Professor Michio Kaku. Thank you so much.
Baie interessant, nee. Nou die dinge het nie gister begin nie, julle. Dis eksperimente van plus minus hier van die 1940s af. Nie sal soos Hitler, hy het al sy eie chip probeer ontwerp, omdat hy die wêreldruler wou wees. Want natuurlik was die tegnologie toe nou nog nie so ver gevorderd nie, so hy het bietjie gesukkel daarmee. Nou wat ek julle probeer sê is dat alles wat vandag gebeur en aangaan, jare en jare terug al beplan was. Alles wat vandag gebeur, pas nou soos 'n puzzle in mekaar en dit is vir ons nie, maar nie vir die duiwelse pionne nie, hoor. En die media is deel van hulle. Die dinge kom nou uit, want daar was altyd whistleblowers. Dan probeer hulle die pionne deur die hulp van die media dit afmaak as conspiracy theory. Kyk gou na hierdie video.
Well, good evening, Catalina. Today, looking at a review of climate change policy theories circulating online. Tell us more.
The COP27 summit is underway in Egypt as leaders get together to discuss climate change. We'll be discussing conspiracy theories, of course, on climate change, notably the HARP conspiracy theory, where there are many who believe that climate change is due to HARP, not global warming. So HARP would be this ultra-secret climate controlling weapon supposedly belonging to the U.S. Army. We'll explain HARP a little bit more in detail. Let's just navigate here through some recent examples of this conspiracy theory online. We have this tweet today from the World Health Organization that says the climate crisis is causing extreme weather events like floods and heavy rainfall. This is putting lives in danger. Of course, we know this to be true, but there are some users that allege that you know what else is causing extreme weather events. HARP and geoengineering, which go hand in hand, weather modifications. There's one tweet, right there from the WHO. There's also these TikToks. This user in French claiming that the actual temperatures right now aren't real. Do your research on HARP. Or this video right here of this user from October, so pretty recent as well, as conspiracy theorists claim that HARP is a weather modification ultra-secret research program of the U.S. government. Mark?
So, what is HARP, and does it really exist? Tell us more.
So HARP does exist. It's a research program. It stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, and it's based in Alaska. So here we have a video of its location right here of this research program in Alaska, a program that was originally financed by the U.S. Army from the 1990s up to 2014, and then it was passed on to the University of Alaska Fairbanks in 2015. Here we have an up-close image on Google Earth of this research program composed of up to 190 antennas. We can see it up close here on Google Earth. And these antennas and radio transmitters right here can only affect a small amount of air above it. They definitely can't control weather conditions or natural disasters, as conspiracy theorists claim. Mark?
Indeed, some conspiracy theorists might be listening to you and doubting that, Kathleen. This is the great thing about what we're doing right now, isn't it? You have more examples of this kind of HARP conspiracy theory and what people are saying online. Tell us more.
We do have more examples, real-life examples online. This one coming from Brazil. It's an example that's been circulating for many years. This one, for example, from July 1st to 2021. This user claims in the Brazilian Amazon forest, the inhabitants destroy HARP antennas, alleging that these right here are HARP antennas in the Amazon rainforest, which we already explained are in Alaska. So let's take a look at the video that goes with this tweet right here, where we do see the videos right here where we do see people bringing down these antennas in Brazil, allegedly tearing down these HARP antennas in the Amazon rainforest. So we found the original video right here on YouTube from November 6, 2017, titled in Portuguese right here that this took place in the Igarashi farm in western Bahia. We can see the same images right here of residents bringing down electrical transformers. farmers. So this video was actually a video of vandalism that took place in Brazil in 2017 of people bringing down electrical installations in this farm in Bahia not to harp antennas. So this conspiracy goes way back, at least 20 years back, as conspiracy theorists also attribute this conspiracy theory to the Katrina, the Hurricane Katrina here, for example. This Twitter user saying, weather modification is real, HARP is real, Hurricane Katrina, Gustav, Isaac, and now Harvey all happened around the exact same date. So this user contributing all hurricanes to HARP, or this user, this overwhelmingly on Twitter, as users claim that new NASA research points out to possible HARP connection in the Japan earthquake tsunami from 2011. Many even believe that HARP was the reason behind the Serbia floods in 2014. So some examples here, past and present, definitely not the last. Mark.
And no doubt more people asking questions about what HARP actually is and what it does. Catalina, thank you very much indeed. That was Truth or Fake. Do stay with us. More to come here, live in Paris.
Nou ek onthou in 2014, julle toe was daar gerugte dat Paus Fransis die gebooie verander het. Kan julle dit onthou? En daar was groot kapsie gemaak en dit was ontken. En hulle het gesê dit is vals. En wat gebeur toe nou met hierdie climate change storie op die berg Sinai? Hulle doen het die 10 gebooie oorgeskryf en hulle het kliptafels op die berg gebreek. En hulle eis die Sabbat nou so op, dat mense belet word om op daardie dag enigstens te ry of te werk. Fabrieke mag nie werk nie. Julle weet, en dit alles vir climate change. Moet hierdie dag nou so geheilig word. En dit laat 'n mens nou nogal wonder. Volgens die Hebreëse kalender is Saterdag oorspronklik die Sabbat. En dit was deur die Romeinse Katolieke verander en geskuif na die Sondag toe. Nou die Romeinse Katolieke saam met hulle duiwels het nou Sondag geheilig. So geheilig vir hierdie climate change affære. Dat julle weet daar's plekke waar die mense se karre van hulle weggevat is. En waar daar nou grense ingestel is, beperkings ingestel is, dat mense net 15 minute loopafstand van hulle huise mag gaan, en dan moet terug aan huis toe. Maar meer oor dit alles in 'n volgende video. My punt is dit. Dit het uitgelek, en dit was drasties ontken, en omtrent 10 jaar later, het dit toe presies so gebeur. Julle en so, presies doen hulle ook, dan met hierdie julle affære. Verstaan julle wat ek vir julle probeer sê? Nou julle, ek en my man het in Huisville toe gery, dit was ek omtrent so 3 weke terug, toe het ek hierdie foto geneem. En net so bo kan die bome, was dit bietjie donkerder as wat jy nou op die foto kan sien. Maar dit lyk soos 'n massiewe ysberg. Sien julle dit? Nou, en kyk dan nou, hierdie video het ek in die week, toe sit ek en my man onder die lapa, en ons sien hier die wolk, en ons sien hoe hy groei, toe maak ek hier die video daarvan. Dit is unbelievable. Dit is nie wolke wat saamgepak het nie, julle. Daai was een wolk wat gegroei het. Sien julle dit? Is unbelievable, nee. Nou hier kom ek nou by my punt. As jy dan die hele deel van Matteus 24 lees, wat Jesus vir ons sê wanneer julle hierdie dinge sien en hy dit opnoem, sê Jesus daar, dit is die begin van die smarte. Sê Jesus enigstens dat dit is hy wat dit veroorsaak, dit is hy wat dit stuur, of sy Vader? Hy sê, wanneer julle die dinge sien, want julle sien, Jesus het geweet wat die mense gaan doen. Nou luister, in die 7 jaar verdrukking, ja, dis 'n ander saak. Wanneer die Here sy engele opdrag gee om die skale uit te gooi, mense sal nie eens daaroor wonder nie, want dit gaan so duidelik wees en dit gaan so verskriklik wees. En dit gaan alles gebeur na Openbaring 3, julle. Maar julle sien, na Openbaring 3, dan word die kerk nêrens meer genoem regdeur die hele Openbaring nie. Hoekom nie? Want dan is die kerk nie meer hier nie. Hoor julle wat ek sê? Daniël 12:4 sê, mense se kennis sal vermeerder, hulle sal slimmer word. En in Romeine 1:30 sê, uitvinders van slegte dinge. Nou dink julle dalk, dat hierdie is ook uitvinders van slegte dinge. En in die volgende deel, dan gaan ek vir julle wys van nog meer uitvinders, met uitvindings van slegte, bose dinge. Want hulle dink hulle is God. Nou julle, ek eindig hierdie deel af, met so klein bonus vir julle. Maar onthou dat die Here sê in Romeine 1:26, dat hy die mense sal oorgee aan hulle eie skandelike hartstogtes. Dan kyk na hierdie video en besluit vir julleself of julle kan sien dat die Here dit reeds gedoen het. Onthou ook Openbaring 22 vers 10 sê, moenie die woorde van hierdie profesie van hierdie boek verseël nie, want die tyd is naby. Amen. Want die wat vuil is, sal vuiler word, en die wat heilig is, sal heiliger word. Die Here Jesus is op pad, en sy loon is by hom om elkeen te vergeld volgens sy werke. Dit wat ek nou vir julle gaan wys, is absoluut goddeloos. En laat ons onthou, waaroor Kersfees gaan. Waarom ons dit vier. Amen. Hou Jesus in julle Kersfees, en laat alles wat julle doen, hy daardeur verheerlik word. Glory to God. Mag julle elkeen 'n wonderlike, geseënde Kersfees hê, in Jesus naam. Onthou asseblief, as jy gelike het, om te like, subscribe as jy nog nie het nie, en share, dat mense kan sien, wat is besig om aan te gaan, en in wat se tyd ons is. En wanneer julle hierdie dinge sien, kyk op, glory to God, en weet, julle verlossing is naby. Amen.
Family friendly drag show, ladies and gentlemen.
Another big riot.
Are you confused yet? Minty fresh. I had sex with my father's boss in my father's office. What's your favorite part?
Nothing.
Well, I slept with my stepfather's co-worker in our RV over Thanksgiving.